Hello jazz people, this is practicing passing 2/5s in the blues, tightening up your sense of harmonic time and keeping better track of the form as you solo. I'll show you some examples and I'll take you through some interactive exercises so you can practice them in a structured way. Let's get on with it. A passing 2/5 is a 2/5 cadence added to create extra harmonic movement, creating smooth transitions between chords. Here's one that leads into chord 2 and the last 4 measures or bars of a blues. Use passing 2/5s to make your soloing sound more fluid and more connected, to help emphasize important chords in a progression and to help your own time and phrasing. I've already made a shorter lesson introducing the topic. There's a link to that in the description. I'm going to show you 3 examples of a passing 2/5: simple, intermediate, and more complex. We'll use each one of them in bar 4, bar 8, and bar 12 of the blues progression. I'll show you the lines in just a moment, but first, here's the basic jazz blues progression that we're going to be starting with. The first spot in a blues where a passing 2/5 will often be added is in the 4th bar, so that's where we'll start too. Here are the 3 lines. Passing 2/5 line number 1, simple. There are free PDFs of notation and tab for guitar available. Link to download is in the description below, so go ahead and grab them if you want them. And here's passing 2/5 line number 2, intermediate. And here's passing 2/5 line number 3, and this one's a little bit more complicated. I'll repeat these a bit later for the other keys. You'll need to cover bars 8 and 12, but for the time being, we're in bar 4. Here, the basic blues progression changes from chord 1 to chord 4. Chord 4 in our example is E flat 7. A 2/5 leading into E flat will be F minor 7 and B flat 7, chord 2 of E flat and chord 5 of E flat. The blues hasn't really changed key here, it's just some extra chords added in passing to smooth the transition from one of the main chords to the next main chord. Now, I've said before in other videos, even if you don't totally understand what I just said, don't stress. Just learn how to play it first and you can understand the theory later. It's better to be able to play something without totally understanding it than it is to understand it without being able to play it at all. Now, let's take line number 1, the simple one, and stick it in the right place in the chord progression in time. I'll play the backing track and we'll play line number 1 together in bar 4. Practice it by yourself slowly to get it under your fingers first if you need to. We'll continue when you're ready. Don't play anything in the first 3 bars. Just count the beats and get ready to play that line in bar 4. Okay, let's go. Alright, good. Now let's repeat the exercise using line number 2, the slightly more difficult one. good. Now let's repeat the exercise using line number 3, the hardest of our 3. Good. Now that you've practiced the lines, let's put them into context. Here's what you'll do. You improvise over the whole 12-bar blues backing track. Play whatever you like, except in bar 4, where for this exercise, you must play line number 1. There'll be 2 choruses, and I'll help you with some prompts as we go. Okay, we need to move on to the next spot in our blues progression for a passing 2-5, and that's bar 8. Here in the basic progression, we have chord 1, B flat 7, moving up to chord 2, C minor 7. The passing 2-5 is added to make a temporary 2-5 that resolves into that C minor 7 chord. To make that happen, we add a D minor 7 and G7 like this. The D minor 7 chord could be D minor 7 flat 5 too. That would also sound good. But for this lesson, we're not going to change the lines at all, which works fine. Let's run through the lines together first in this new key. Pause and practice by yourself first if you need to. Passing 2-5 line, number 1, in the new key. Passing 2-5 line, number 2, starting on D minor 7. And here's passing 2-5 line number 3, starting on D minor 7. Now let's start with line number 1, outlining D minor 7 and G7. You'll hear a count in plus 3 bars leading up to bar 8. You can either rest for those 3 bars and just play the line in the right place, or you could improvise for those bars, whatever you prefer. You could even go back and repeat it, doing it both ways. Okay, good. Now let's repeat the exercise using line number 2, the slightly more difficult one. If any of the lines are too hard for you at the moment, skip them and stick with the easier examples until you get them under your fingers. Now let's repeat the exercise using the more difficult line, number 3. And now that you've gone over the lines, we need to put them into context. Once again, here are 2 choruses of the whole blues progression. Do as you please for your solo, but for this exercise, you must play line 1, 2, or 3 every time you get to bar 8. You could also play the lines from the first exercise in bar 4 if you like. I think that would be a good idea. I'll prompt you so you know which bar you're up to, although always the further through you get, the less I'll help. Okay, let's go. 2 choruses of blues, adding passing 2 5s to bar 8. Okay, we need to move on to the final spot in our blues progression for a passing 2 5, bar 12. Here in the basic progression, we need a way of turning the progression around so that it sounds like it wants to go back to the start. I guess you could say that this passing 2 5 is a turnaround, or very often is part of a turnaround. The chords in this passing 2 5 are C minor 7 and F7. We'll run through the lines together first in this 3rd key. Pause and practice by yourself first if you need to. Line number 1, resolving back into B flat. Passing 2 5 line number 2, resolving back into B flat. And resolving back into B flat with line number 3, the more complicated one. Now, let's start with line number 1, outlining C minor 7 and F7. You'll hear a count in plus 3 bars leading up to bar 12. You can either rest for those 3 bars and just play the line in the right place, or you can improvise for those bars. As always, it's whatever you prefer. Okay, good. Now let's repeat the exercise using line number 2, the slightly more difficult one. Okay, you ready for a harder one now? Let's repeat the exercise using the more challenging line, number 3. Now it's time for the penultimate exercise of this lesson. Oh, and in case there are any horn players watching this, penultimate means the second last. This time you'll hear 2 and a bit choruses of backing track. Your focus should be on nailing the passing 2-5 in bar 12 in time, in the right place. Improvise for the rest of the chorus however you like, just be ready for bar 12. It might be good practice to stick the other passing 2-5s in bars 4 and 8 as well, but we will be putting everything together in just a moment. Here we go. 2 choruses focusing on bar 12. Now, just before we put it all together, let me just clarify. I'm not saying that this is how you play jazz. This is one technique out of many possible techniques that lots of jazz players use. You've heard what it sounds like. During the 1940s, jazz players began incorporating more and more 2-5s and other cadences into not just blues progressions, but jazz standards too, creating ever more complex and harmonically lively tunes and solos. This constant movement in the chords is a hallmark of the bebop style, and it's been pretty profoundly influential, probably in most mainstream jazz, since the 1940s. In this lesson, I'm showing you how to start getting it into your playing in case you want to be able to play with that sound, or so that you can be equipped to play in that way in case you're ever asked to do it on a gig. Okay, enough of that. Let's get on with the final exercise. You improvise for 3 choruses of B-flat blues. You should try to use one of our example passing 2-5s in bars 4, 8 and 12. If you've learned others, try those as well. I'll give you some cues as we go through, but gradually fewer and fewer. You need to be able to track time independently as you play. Hard to do, but that's what this training exercise is for. Okay, let's do it. Alright, I hope that was good for you. Repeat as necessary. Liking and subscribing are sure to help boost your playing to new heights too. And speaking of that, everyone watching Jazz Guitar YouTube, not you, but everyone else, is looking for a quick fix, some kind of instant solution. Do this, and you'll be a jazz god instantly. Spend 5 minutes with that, and then the next video it'll be something else, unrelated. I wish I'd known this when I started out. It would have made me an instant professional. But that's all nonsense. There is no instant way. There's no instant way. It takes time, and it takes thought, and it takes effort. I'm sorry to have to say this, but it's the truth. However, please keep this in mind. There are things that you can do, and if you work at it systematically, then you can learn to play jazz, and you can get good at it. It doesn't matter how old you are or what your background is. Learn the skills, work to apply the concepts, and you can do it. You really can. Will you become a jazz great? Who knows? Probably not, because there aren't that many of them, but that's up to other people to decide. And anyway, who cares? All we can do is go ahead and love the music and enjoy our time with it and work at it. That's all that matters. Go do it, because you know what? You can. All right, I'll see you next time. Take care, and may the jazz be with you.